Okay, you ever have that feeling where you just want to be done with it and get out of it, but every time it pulls you back in with something? Yeah, that's basically my feelings for for Star Wars Rebels. It's this series that has so much promise, but yet Disney has to Disneyfy it. They don't want to take darker chances. And this leads to a question I've been wanting to say. This takes place at the high points, as far as I know, of the dark times, before Luke got involved in the war. Why does it not feel like it's the dark times? Okay, yeah, we see oppression, but not at the level we think it should be. Like George Lucas and I believe a lot of people called the Galactic Empire basically space Nazis. So why are they not being as oppressive as the, quote, space Nazis would be? I mean, yeah, I've been, like, wondering why the series just can't just die on me, for God's sakes. And, yeah, here's the thing. The only thing that was keeping me of interest of watching the show to the bitter end was whether or not Ahsoka Tano would survive. The first season was just purely because it's a new Star Wars series, and let's see how this tries out on the new Disney canon. Okay, that did alright, it looked like it was going somewhere, but then everything just fell apart when Season 2 happened, and the only thing that was keeping me interested in watching that was really Ahsoka, because it's Ahsoka Tano, a character we grew up with, and a character that we're all invested with, but even then, that's a kind of a slap to the face to Disney, because Disney didn't make Ahsoka. Dave Filoni and George Lucas made Ahsoka, not Disney. So really, nothing about Disney's creations were keeping me interested in watching the show. Anything that had to do with the Clone Wars series that were put on the Star Wars Rebels series is what kept me interested to at least try and watch it. And I watched the first two parts, the first episode technically, The Heroes of Mandalore. Okay. What happened? Like, this is clearly focusing on Sabine's character arc because it's been built up so perfectly. And by that, I mean horribly rushed and ends conflicts within one episode. So, yeah. And I was like, oh god, they're doing a 2-episode parter, everybody. 2-episode parter, we got a 2-episode parter, except it's being merged into one, into a TV movie-like vibe. But moving on, we finally see Sabine's dad. Okay, yeah. Who turns out to be just as much of an artist as Sabine. And, yeah, we also see Bo-Katan of Clan Kerez, aka the sister of Duchess Satine, and basically that's like the one character I actually gave two shits about, because what happened in that episode part really made me mad. I'll get to that. Okay, so let's see if after they get their dad, after Sabine and her crew get her dad back, and Bo-Katan doesn't want to be in charge because she failed once and she can't do it again. So basically she's pulling a Luke Skywalker, except what happened wasn't completely her fault. It was because of her leader that was in Death Watch that led to her sister's death. But moving on, the Empire has revealed itself to have a new weapon, the sound of which Sabine recognizes, and Sabine, in this futile effort, screams into the comms that are being blocked due to this power of the weapon. They rush to their allies and finds out that every Mandalorian has been horribly vaporized. We don't see their bodies because that would have been too far for Disney's audience. And then Sabine is devastated. She realizes they were killed by a weapon she had created for the Empire during her time at the Academy back when she was younger. And I was like, you know, the fact that they hinted at this in Season 3 actually makes me a little commendable, that the fact that, oh god, they're having continuity here. So, Yeah, like, and I was really, like, interested, like, in the first episode, like, wow, her parents, she gets her father back, but her mother and brother have been viciously killed, possibly great painfully. So, yeah, we go to this next part in the episode that really pissed me off, because it went from where it could have been a huge burden on Sabine's shoulders, like having to realize that she inadvertently killed her parent and killed her brother and mother after just reconnecting with them, and then the biggest pissed off moment happens. They survived. Are you fucking kidding me? They survived, and here's the thing. The reason why they survived was because they managed to somehow hear Sabine scream through the comms that were blocked, I must stress, that were jammed. So I don't know how that would happen, because in later episodes, the jamming frequency still doesn't let people able to barely get the visual audio in there. So really, why? Why is this happening? No, seriously, why are Sabine's brother and mother alive? They should be dead. No. I'm going with the mentality that they died and Sabine's lost her mind. That is the only way I'm going to find this logical. So, yeah. After Saxon, Gar Saxon, I think that's him or someone else, shows a recording of the weapon's field test to Thrawn. The weapon superheats an alloy in Mandalorian's armor, killing the occupant but leaving the stormtroopers unharmed. And here's the saddest thing I'm going to say, and this is probably the biggest slap to the face. There is a character that works with Saxon that keeps bringing up concerns on whether or not the Empire will use it on them. And I was like, oh god, they did not just do what I think they just did. They did it, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, they made a background character the most interesting character in this entire series. That is sad. That is unbelievably sad. They made this character more relatable than the goddamn main characters, and Ezra Bridger specifically. Like, yeah, he's loyal to the Empire, but even he knows that, you know, this might not be a good idea to have this kind of weapon. Now, what is Gar Saxon's response to such logical explanations? He just screams out that, I am the Empire! And I was like, you are a fucking idiot. If you do not die in this episode, I will be devastated. So, yeah. They do that, and Bo-Katan is understandably pissed off that Sabine created this weapon, which she claims that it was because she was arrogant back then, and I'm not really complaining about that part. Aren't Mandalorians inherently stubbornly arrogant at times? But then there was this moment in the episode that made me really sad at what Disney had done to the Mandalorians. So Ezra, for once, as I realized it, I'll talk about that at the end of the video when I talk about the trailer, Ezra contributes and suggests, wait, why don't they just, you know, make different sets of armor out of a different material? And then I was like, wait, did Ezra just contribute to everything? He's actually contributing in a positive light. He's not just fucking everything up. Oh, okay, let's see how they take it. And they had this, and the Mandalorians just had this look of offensiveness on them. It was so stunningly stupid. In fact, I was so tempted just to make the one video talking about this 2-part episode because I wanted to rant about this moment. They got mad that Ezra came up with a logical, common sense answer. So, and Sabine has to justify these obviously turned into SJW Mandalorians saying that the armor is a hand-me-down and tradition and culture, culture, commentary, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. Here's what I can say. What if Ezra just meant temporarily? You know, for like, just until they get rid of the weapon? You know, that. And sure enough, That doesn't come up to anybody. Like, culture talk, culture, preserve culture, even though we're probably going to be horribly extinguished in horrible agony because of it. And I was like, and this was like, done. No, I'm done. I am done. Like, I wanted out of the show right when that happened. I wanted out of it. Like, I understand preserving one's culture. I get that. I really do. But in the face of extinction, you're gonna have to adapt. Like, that's gonna have to happen. So, yeah. After this, I stopped watching the show. After this episode, I had stopped watching the show. But, so... yeah, I'll get to how I got back to watching it because of my delusional state of agony, of masochism, I believe. So after it's revealed that Sabine named the weapon the Duchess after Satine, because that makes character-wise sense. Like, Satine was always known as a destroyer of Mandalorian tradition. She wasn't just a pacifist or anything. No, clearly she would want to be named after a weapon of pure destruction and could wipe out the Mandalorian people. Oh, wait. So Sabine then convinces with a passionate speech to join in on the raid on Saxon's Star Destroyer to destroy the weapon, yada yada yada. And then it's revealed that Sabine could reverse engineer the weapon to attack stormtroopers. You're kidding me, right? You mean to tell me they never thought the Empire is this incompetently run that they never gave one moment of thought, like, wait, what if this could be turned against us? This could be turned against us. I know Palpatine is portrayed as the massive dumbass in the canon of Disney because villains are apparently stupid, so we have to make them as stupid as possible. Unless it's Kylo Ren, because that's where we get our most fun. And even to an extent, Thrawn is just copy and pasted, except he has pupils. I still don't understand that part. And he only appeared like once in the episode, except he wasn't physically there. It was a hologram. So, yeah. I needed to rant about that part, but they could reverse engineer this weapon. Okay, whatever. So then it gets stupider. Sabine is tempted to use the weapon, and I was like, yeah, just use the weapon. Just use the goddamn weapon. Like, it can work. But no, when she finally decides to use the weapon after this Mandalorian officer talks to Saxon again when he has the heroes on the rope and saying, "Sir, I really, really recommend we don't do this. This could destroy our way of life." And once again, Saxon, being a dumbass, doesn't listen to logic and punishes him for it. And sure enough, Bo-Katan tells Sabine to destroy the weapon because they don't want to stoop to their level. And I was like, oh my god. So in a war where people are going to die, you're going to play the pacifist card. You, a Mandalorian, are going to play the pacifist card. Since you're hinting at the Mandalorian Wars from the Old Republic era being canon again, they might have the past disagree with you on your culturistic society system. But besides the point, Sabine destroys the weapon, thus rendering everything that was caring about this whole arc was completely pointless. Like, really think about it. If they kept the weapon, the war could have been won. Let's be honest, the war could have been won if they used it. They could have mass-produced it or found a way to make more of these, since, you know, the goddamn creators on it, and they could have won right then and there. They could have wiped out the Stormtrooper army. But ingenuity, pride, or something like that, like, okay, I know you don't want to stoop to their level. I really, really freaking get that. But this is a device that can defeat the Empire. You're really going to play the moral high ground just so you don't use it. And sure enough, Sabine gives up her character arc and gives the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, making her the true leader of Mandalore. Even though I honestly thought it would have been more interesting if Sabine took the role, because, you know, that would have actually been interesting. So, yeah, we see Saw Gerrera again. He's once again looking for the secret weapon the Empire's looking on, and this leads to a conflict between Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera for their lengths to how they should defeat the Empire. Yeah, I understand why. But I'm like, seriously? Wouldn't it have made more sense if something like this happened, happened like, I don't know, back in season 3 when Ezra was having this dark phase he was going through, which lasted for 3 episodes, sadly, and didn't last the entire season, which was a huge disappointment. Like, at all. But moving on from that, yeah, Saw Gerrera, he's a loon, as always. You're fierce! And I was honestly disappointed to an extent because I really wanted to see Jyn Erso. Like, Sabine and Jyn Erso clearly met in the Force of Destiny miniseries, so why couldn't they meet in the Rebels series? They could have done that. I would have loved to see how they interacted off of each other. And Ezra, like I said, I really just don't give two shits anymore about him. And yeah, this is all about debating whether or not if this would be the right way or this would be the wrong way and whatnot. Like, Saw Gerrera is the more extremist type, and Mon Mothma is more of the pacifist, aggressive type. Yeah. So, we clearly know what that is. And sure enough, they're not going to show the secret weapon. And of course, Director Krennic is mentioned. Yeah, because his fate's going to end pretty well. Which should have been the realization that maybe someone... that I'm surprised they didn't bring this up. What if Saw Gerrera unknowingly... why didn't Ezra, Sabine, or Saw realize that maybe the Empire warned the people who might be in charge of the secret weapon and jumped it out of hyperspace? Because the Death Star can apparently do that. I still do not get why and how, but okay. So, yeah. Then we get this whole... Then they go back to Lothal, because this is a 16-episode season finale mentality. Final season thing. And, yeah, we get some familiar characters who I really don't care about. And, yeah, it turns out Joel has been killed off-screen. And the environment is ruined, the planet's been polluted, and yeah, Ryder doesn't know what the hell is going on. So, yeah. And then, of course, we get Loth Wolves. Yeah. And, of course, Episode 6, Flight of the Defender... This is the unfortunate thing. Thrawn was the star on this, mostly because when Sabine took over the TIE Defender, which is from the Legends canon once again, because we can't come up with anything original because 30 years of storytelling killed that for Disney, even though they're trying to say it didn't. Still a huge lie, but I'll talk about that one day probably. But moving on, Thrawn just stands there watching Sabine pilot the TIE Defender, blowing everything around him to smithereens, and Thrawn just has this look of saying, "Bitch, please," because he doesn't care. He's just standing there looking like, huh, okay. And then he just casually pulls out a gun and fires at the TIE Defender, and it's like, he knows that's not going to mean anything. He just wants to do that just because I'm Thrawn. I'm a badass. And plus, I'm protected. Oh, you want to know what I mean by that? It's because here's the stupidest idea Dave Filoni said. He revealed that, yeah, he revealed that, how do I say this? He revealed that Thrawn outlives Galen Erso from Rogue One. So, Thrawn's alive, he's going to make it, so basically he's being protected by character protection because he's going to be seen in future stories. So, yeah, then we see the Loth Wolves, and apparently they have the power of the Force, and not like it's tied into, it, like the whole, it's all connected to all living beings. No, they have apparently enough midichlorian count to use the Force directly somehow, and I still do not know why. And yeah, and then like, yeah, well, yeah, I really have no idea how to say this stuff. So then we get the introduction to a familiar Legends character. Thrawn sends a very helpful individual, Ryuk. Does that name sound familiar? It should. It's Thrawn's bodyguard from Legends. Yep, let's bring him in. Because we don't want to give away how Thrawn's most likely going to die in the future or anything. Yeah, Ryuk's in the canon now, along with the Nogri species, except the Nogri were portrayed as big, powerful, intimidating forces while also being good at stealth and what Ryuk does in the episode. But instead of doing that, they instead changed them to be gray, almost simian-sized creatures who are much smaller, even though clearly Ryuk looks a lot different in the Legends canon, because he's more bulkier but yet more powerful, but yet is able to do the things he does in the new canon, but he's just bigger, like Strowman could do in wrestling, but that's a different matter. So yeah, Ryuk once again kicks people's asses, everyone gets a run for it, and Governor Price, oh gosh, she is horribly stupid. When Zeb manages to take the hyperdrive, yeah, they still have hyperdrive, Zeb, well, Governor Price is saying, we will send out an airship party, air support to look for this son of a bitch, pretty much. Sure enough, Zeb just steals the Imperial transport. Wow, right from behind you, you royally suck at this job, Governor Price, and you're one of the main characters in the Thrawn novel. Yeah, that actually is a thing. And I still haven't finished the Thrawn novel. I keep having too much time on my hands with work and whatnot to listen to the audiobook. So, moving on from that, and sure enough, here's the thing that was happening throughout this throughout the last 3 episodes. Between 5 to 7, we got these moments with Kanan and Hera discussing their relationship, and I was like, wait, oh god damn it, Disney. Because, let's be honest, their relationship was not focused a lot on the show. Like, they were mentioned a lot in the novel, A New Dawn, and we only just knew that they were together because of one line of dialogue where Hera calls Kanan love in, like, season 1, but they never brought it up again for some reason. So, the fact that they just suddenly started talking about this relationship made the thing that was going to happen all the more predictable. Kanan is going to die. He's guaranteed death. The reason why I say just Kanan's going to die is because they've already spoiled that Hera's going to survive. Like, all this tension you get with Hera, yeah, don't care about that. She survives past the Battle of Endor. As confirmed in Forces of Destiny when the episode focuses on General Leia and Hera after the Battle of Endor when the Ewoks are trying to kill stormtroopers and eat them. Which would have been funny, but that's a different matter. So Hera is guaranteed to survive. Kanan, he's a dead man walking. His time's up. So, yeah, the love will... And Kanan and Hera kiss, surprisingly, because it's a TVG-rated show. And people were saying that they can't kiss because G rating, but considering how the rating system is all fucked up nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if they could, but really they didn't know what the hell that even meant. So anyways, yeah. And sure enough, Loth Wolves, there's a sinister goal going on in the Empire, and I was like, really? Don't you remember back in Season 1, Episode 1, where, Minister Tui, I don't remember her name that much, she was that little of impression that, I don't know, wasn't it said that the minister was saying that the Emperor was eventually going to arrive on Lothal? Yeah, that never came to anyone's thoughts that the Emperor himself was interested in Lothal for some reason. Also, yeah, here's the thing. How the hell do the Wolf Wolves somehow have the ability to teleport people halfway across the planet? Yeah, that happens. That happens. So, oh god. So, yeah, the Wolf Wolves have the ability to teleport people halfway across the planet somehow. And then we get this episode with a mining guild ore crawler destroying the environment. And sure enough, we're getting that moment. And surprisingly, we get a surprisingly brutal death of the pilot falling into lava, into molten ore. So, yeah, that must have been painful. And sure enough, Hera inspires Rebel Command to conduct an immediate assault on the factory where the TIE Defenders shall be produced. And whatnot, since Vizago's in this episode, don't give a damn about him. And Ezra and the team agreed to coordinate the impending assault from the planet's surface. Alright, let's get right into it. This is what it's been building up for, the Battle of Lothal, and it fails within the first 10 minutes. Yeah, her assault team arrives, and then Imperial's TIE fighters just shoot them all down. All of them are dead. Because it's Thrawn. So, yeah, that plan went nowhere. So, Hera gets captured. Pilot Martin escapes. And Kanan says that he can do something about the situation. Oh boy, I wonder what that's going to mean. I wonder how he's going to die. I'm pretty sure Ryuk's going to have something to do with it. And that ends the mid-season, the first half of Star Wars Rebels. But then the trailer dropped just a few days ago at the time of this video. I looked at it. I didn't make a video about it, but I needed to watch the first half just to get what the hell is going on. Okay. Mortis is coming back. Yay! Mortis is being brought up again, which means Ahsoka may finally return. Probably at the final episode, but still may return. Or be the new daughter, since that's been a theory everyone's been hoping for. And, yeah, Kanan is not seen in the trailer, like, a lot. Like, when he's rescuing Hera, that's when he's seen, but afterwards, he's just gone. So that means, yeah, he's dead. And especially since the first episode of the second half is called Jedi Knight, not the Night, more like the Night of Darkness, which means, yeah, he's gonna die. And the second episode is called Doom, which is saying that it's gonna have a devastating loss. So yeah, he's dead in the first episode of the second half of season 4. So yeah, and here's the thing. Ahsoka's survival was the only thing keeping me watching the show. I want to know what happens. I feel like there's still something she has left to do, specifically Barriss, because they've never addressed what the hell happened to her, and Dave Filoni did say he wanted to have plans for her in the future, and that was before the Disney canon bought out, so it could still lead to something if Vader was interested in recruiting her, but we don't know that yet. So, yeah, and sure enough, the Emperor finally shows up. Like he was in Season 2, Episode 1, but really that's just a voice cameo, not the actual living guy. And I don't mean like the Emperor himself shows up, like the entire Emperor comes in. What I mean by that? Ian McDiarmid is back, and he's voicing Palpatine this time. He's back. The original Palpatine is back to kick ass again with his over-the-top cartoony antics. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Is the picture mine at last? Which leads up to one major problem. From what the trailer is indicating, other than the Mortis arc finally having a huge contribute to the greater Star Wars canon instead of waiting for the novels to happen, in terms of the Fate of the Jedi series that happened in Legends, we're going to get some answers, hopefully, regarding Mortis and what happened to Ahsoka since the Owl's back. Or Convor. But from what the trailers indicate at the end, are they building up Ezra versus Palpatine? No, don't even think of thinking that's a good idea. Why do I say that is a terrible idea? It's because Ezra has not earned such an honor. Like, really think about it. Remember how I said it early in the video? That what Ezra did regarding the Mandalorian issue was probably the only time he's contributed in a positive manner. Like, really think about it. What has Ezra done throughout the entire series that has been contributing in a positive manner that is only unique to him, but could be and not those that could be changed by any other character? And the Purgle do not count. I will bash anyone in the head that thinks that was still a good idea. Not really. I'm not that crazy. Maybe. Not really. Anyways, yeah. What has Ezra actually done? Let's see. He follows the advice of a hypocritical Jedi that most likely was... I'm going into conspiracy theory on this one. That was trying to get him, Kanan, and Ahsoka killed on Malachor. And speaking of Malachor... If the Emperor wanted the holocron that has the power of the weapon, why didn't he and Vader just go there themselves to get it, like, at a much earlier day? Like, he went there with Maul in the comics, so why couldn't he go back? Is there something there that stops him? Well, we'll never know that because the weapon's been destroyed. So moving on from that, he's tapped into the power of the holocron, almost getting everyone killed in the process. He keeps listening to Maul despite everything that's happened, and and I must stress, he trusts Maul for a while. Oh boy. He listens to the idiocy of Obi-Wan Kenobi, thinking like, oh, this is not my fight, I'm not going to tell you what it is, shut up. Even though I understand why he doesn't want to tell people that about Luke, but... yeah, like, doesn't Ezra think he's kind of crazy at the fact he's just waiting for things to get better? And, like I said, Ezra fucking listens to Yoda of all people, and I hate Yoda, especially this new version of him. So, pardon me of my anti-Yoda belief. I might make a video one day explaining why I hate Yodas to the bone in a video talking about Yoda, but... I don't know when that day will come. Probably after episode 9 comes out, because that would be the one thing that determines what happens to the future of the Star Wars galaxy. So, 2 years away, if this YouTube even survives by then, and if the world survives by then. I'm a pessimistic, aren't I? Anyways, so, you want to know why Ahsoka versus Vader felt earned? Because even though we knew Vader was going to survive, Ahsoka and Anakin had a built-up storyline. They've known each other since the Clone Wars. They were master and apprentice, almost turning into father and daughter. It felt like it was earned to see that tragedy eventually happen between them and the fight to break out between them. It felt earned. Whereas Ezra, what has he done that makes it earned that he should fight Palpatine? He can barely hold his own against Vader. And that's... oh, who am I kidding? He got his ass handed to him. He only survived because Ahsoka stopped it. But moving on. Yeah, what exactly has Ezra done that warrants him fighting the Emperor of all people? Nothing. It's not Galen Merrick from The Force Unleashed, and that's from the Legends canon, and they were trying to make him canon as just an Inquisitor, you know, everything that is not Galen Merrick, just in name only. But yeah, nothing about Ezra really made me care. Nothing about him made me care. Yeah, he lost his parents. In fact, speaking of that, if Ezra did not make that speech, his parents probably would still be alive. So if he really thought about it for less than 3 seconds, he would have realized that he inadvertently got his parents murdered. Way to go! So, yeah. Ezra's character doesn't warrant this moment to fight Palpatine, even if he has the wolves to back him up, and what the trailer was indicating. So, yeah, I don't care if he gets killed off. I'm not interested. He's guaranteed death, just like Kanan is. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get killed. And plus, Yoda gets what he wants, but Ahsoka, that's still a matter of debate, because Dave Filoni likes to tease everybody that Ahsoka might actually survive, because he showed a picture on his Twitter page on the header of Ahsoka in the desert with a wolf with Captain Rex. Huh. Also, in the trailer, Gregor and Wolf are back. Where the hell were they the entire time? Yeah, we never saw them after the first 2 episodes when they came back. So what happened? What were they doing the whole time? Yeah, and they're also bringing in all the guys and gals that Ezra and the crew interacted with throughout the entire series for this big epic battle that is obviously going to lose, because accordingly, open warfare between the Rebellion and the Empire doesn't happen until Rogue One, and that's the only major victory they get. So yeah, we know how that's going to end. They're going to die most likely. Or barely survive and go Dunkirk on everybody, except not as awesome and epic the movie was. I'll talk about that movie later. Oh wait, I call it a film. But yeah, anyways. Ezra has not earned it. Ezra was being forced by fans, in my opinion, by Disney just to make their own Ahsoka. Except here's the thing. Even though they had the creator of Ahsoka, the people who made the Clone Wars series, Disney somehow doesn't listen to the fact that that isn't what made Ahsoka so special to fans. No. It wasn't because she was told she's important. She was built up. She was given a character. She was given character development. She was given an arc. But she wasn't said she's important like Ezra was told. Like people were saying about Ezra back in Season 1 when Ahsoka, when she was codenamed Fulcrum, saying Ezra's important or something, even though he's not doing anything important and nothing really changes the tide in the war in the long run. So, yeah, pardon me if I am not interested in Ezra and what will happen at the end of the series. I just want to know what Ahsoka's fate is, and then I'm done. And that will most likely be the last episode. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the first half of Star Wars Rebels Season 4. I look forward to the show finally going away and moving onwards to hopefully a better project, courtesy of Dave Filoni. And speaking of that, I finally decided to remember when I looked up who created the show other than Dave Filoni. I found Simon Kinberg is a co-creator and writer of the show. I was like, No. It has to be a different Simon Kinberg. There are tons of people with similar names. I'm sure that the internet will prove me right. Nope, it's Simon Kinberg. X-Men Simon Kinberg. You mean to tell me you got the guy who wrote stories about mutant oppression and you couldn't even let him go all out with the Dark Times? That is fucking pathetic. Fuck you, Disney. Fuck you! So yeah, those were my thoughts on Star Wars Rebels Season 4 first half. I will hopefully get a conclusion of Ahsoka surviving at the end of the series in the second half. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate station for more.